A very good morning and welcome to Nigerian Stock Exchange update. This is midweek and the stock exchange has been very active, very busy over since the beginning of the week. Yesterday was very busy. There were a lot of gainers and losers. And of course, as you know, the market is not yet open. So I'm going to tell you how the market panned out yesterday. So let's go straight in to see how how the stocks performed on the exchange yesterday. Gainers, losers, markets go up, markets come down. It wasn't any different on the Nigerian Stock Exchange yesterday. So this is how the market closed yesterday. And remember, the market is here to open in about 40 minutes time. Exactly, the Nigerian Stock Exchange will be open, but let's see how it panned out yesterday, how it closed yesterday. How it closed yesterday, that is how it's going to be when the market reopens at 9:35 this morning. So Access Holdings closed at 0.19%. Access Holdings, which closed at 0.19% down. ABC Transport had no change. It was at 0%. It had no change. Lafarge Africa, that used to be known as Lafarge Africa, now HBM Nigeria PLC, also closed at 0%, no changes to its share price. Boa Cement did not experience any movement, so it closed at 0%, or trading at 316 naira to a share. Consolidated Hallmark, meanwhile, closed on a downside note, closed on a bearish note, 4.13% down, and was trading at 8 naira 10 kobo. Also bearish yesterday was a deep capital market. Deep capital close, actually one of the top losers for yesterday. Deep capital closed with 8.57% down. Deep capital 8.57%. And Nigeria Exchange Group, the parent company of the Nigeria Stock Exchange, closed at 2.52% down. Nigeria Exchange Group, that's the parent company of the Nigeria Stock Exchange. Also bearish close on a negative note was Mutual Benefit. It lost 4.3% of its share value at the time of closing yesterday. Living Trust Mortgage was among the top 5 losers yesterday. It closed by losing 10% off. It was down in value by 10%. So Living Trust, one of the top 5 losers of yesterday, actually with Multiverse. Multiverse also lost 10% of its share value. So those are the two top 5, and those are the top 2 in the list of the top 5 losers of yesterday. VFD Group, the share price went down by 2.84% at the close of business yesterday. That is VFD Group. Yesterday, MTN didn't lose anything. It closed at 0%, so it was up. MTN trading for 845 naira. Eternal Oil was among the top 5 losing stocks of yesterday. It lost 9.09% of its value at the close of business. So that is how it stands. Eternal Oil among the top 5 losers yesterday, closing at over 9% down in value. Omatech Ventures lost 6.74%. That was how it closed yesterday. Also the losers, the Initiates also closed on a negative note. It was down by 3.40%. As the Initiate was down by 3.4%. Yes, Lotus Halal ETF was also down by 3.44%. I want to close on a negative note. lost 3.44 of its value. Or UPDC rate, or UPDC Real Estate Investment Trust closed slightly down at 0.72%. Meanwhile, Chance closed on a positive note. It was bullish. The value was up by 0.87. The value of the share was up by 0.87. Also bullish at the close of business yesterday was Jais Bank. Jais Bank was up by 0.56%. Jais Bank was up by 0.56%. Yesterday also, Sovereign Trust Insurance, Sovereign Trust closed at over 5%, down 5.05%, down in value. That is Sovereign Trust. First Holdco, which has been having a tremendous bullish run for over a week, came down slightly yesterday, losing 2.99% of its value to close at 130 naira. But do not bet against First Holdco that it might jump right back today once the market opens. But as we speak, it closed yesterday at 2.99% down. So it's trading now for 130 naira. First Holdco trading for 130 naira. Name Insurance also closed on a negative note yesterday, lost 3.51% and was trading for 33 naira. Also, Lagos State Assurance Company, Lagos State Assurance closed on a negative note as well. It lost 4.36 of its value. Lagos State Assurance, LASACO, closed at 4.38% down. Cortex Insurance also closed on a bearish note, losing 5%. Cortex Assurance or investment also closed on a negative note. It lost 5%. Linkage Assurance also closed on a bearish note, losing 1.23%. Yes, that's it. But there were those who were gainers. United Capital closed on a bullish note. It was up in value by 0.56%. United Capital, always delivering, was up in value by 0.56%. Also down yesterday, DAT Communications, the parent company of AIT, was down in value, slightly down in value by just 0.56%. That is DAT Communications. Among the top 5 losing stocks of yesterday was McNichols. McNichols closed at 9.92% down. McNichols was among the top 5 losers of yesterday. It closed at 9.92% down. Dangote Cement. Dangote Cement, there was no changes to its share price yesterday. It was actually stable. It closed at 1,034 naira, 0% change. We didn't get anything and it didn't go. And that's Dangote Cement. Dangote Sugar closed also at 0%, but it's trading now for 77 naira. Among the losing stocks that closed on a bearish note yesterday was Guaranteed Trust. Guaranteed Trust was down in value by 0.76% at the close of business. Guaranteed Trust Holdings, GTCO, was among those who took hit yesterday, but not really much because it closed at 0.7% down to be selling, to be trading at 130 naira. Also yesterday, Guinea Insurance closed at 3.85% down. Guinea Insurance closed at 3.58% down, 3.85% down. Multiverse was among the top 5 losers. It actually occupied the top 5 losing stock with Living Trust Mortgage because Multiverse also closed at 10% down in value. Multiverse closed at 10% down in value. EcoBank was at 0%. It didn't lose anything at the close of business. So EcoBank is trading for 80 naira and then 9 kobo. Yesterday also at the close of business, First City Merchant Bank Group was down in value by 0.44%. First City Merchant Bank Group down in value by 0.44%. Among the gainers yesterday, let me tell you, those who closed on a bullish note yesterday. ICO Insurance closed at 3.47% up in value. So that's one of the gainers of yesterday, 3.47% up. That is ICO Insurance. Also, on a positive note, on a bullish note, as mentioned earlier, there are other stocks in there. One of them is yes, Chams goes slightly up, but it was up in value by 0.87%. Chams was up close on a bullish note, 0.87% up. First Cocoa, which had dominated the among top five gainers for most of last week. It was down yesterday, as I've already mentioned. It was actually on a bearish mode yesterday at the close of business. But as it is among the top happiness is livestock feed. Livestock feed, the value was up by 9.49%. Livestock feed closed on a very bullish note yesterday, 9.49% up in value. Also up in value yesterday was a Name-It. Name-It was also up in value. It gained over 8%, 8.43% of that is Name-It was up by over 8%. Coronation Insurance goes slightly up, but 2.64, 2.61 up in value. That's Coronation Insurance was among the gainers yesterday at the close of business. Name-It International was, of course, among the top five gainers of yesterday, 8.43% up. Those that took hit yesterday included Fidelity and the Wema Bank. Fidelity closed at 1.13% down. Wema Bank also closed on a bearish note, 2.95% down. Zenith Bank also was not shielded. Zenith had a tough day yesterday, so it closed on a bearish note, though slightly by at 0.48% down. That is Zenith Bank. So yesterday was mixed for the market, for the stocks. The popular ones, they had a mixed. IBTC was neutral yesterday. It closed at 0% up and was trading for 159 naira per share. Nigeria Police Force Microfinance also closed at 0%. Okomo Oil closed at 0%. Ikeja Hotel closed at 0%. Sterling Finance closed at 0% as well. Sterling Financial 0% up, 0% up. International Energy also no changes. It was at 0% at the close of business. Regency Alliance had a good day. It closed at a bullish note of 2.5% up. Regency Allowance. So that's good news. If you're a shareholder of Regency Allowance and you're thinking of making quick bucks, you can go ahead and do that because your stock closed at 2.5% up. Also yesterday, also up was Oando Oil. Oando was up by 3.3. Oando was up yesterday and it closed on a bullish note, being up in value by 3.3. Oando Oil, so it's doing well. Also, UPDC is doing well. It closed at more than 4% up in value, 4.1% up in value. UPDC, that's for you, also doing well. So those are the positions of how things closed yesterday. The market is going to open in less than 30 minutes, about 25 minutes. So things might change. Definitely, of course, naturally, things will change. We're going to see market dictating and then a new set of gainers and losers may emerge. So that's how it's been on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Remember, the market is still closed. So everything you're hearing is as they stood at the close of business yesterday. That is how they will enter into the new day. So hopefully, of course, nobody can predict what is going to happen in the market today, but looking forward to another update and to see the direction of the market. Thank you so much for watching. Please, I'll see you again with another update. Enjoy the rest of your day.